Bugaloos, the Bugaloos, we're in the air everywhere, flying high, flying loose, flying free as a summer breeze, happy as a summer breeze.
So take the time to taste the honey in a summer breeze. Touch the blossom on every good.
Where's that coming from? Just listen to them. Oh, I've got to have them for my very own. I must.
There was one name for live-action children's entertainment in the late 70s and early 80s. Krofft. Sid and Marty Krofft were Canadians, siblings, puppeteers, and creators of some of the most memorable characters in children's entertainment. It was a staple of your viewing schedule if you were a kid in the late 70s and early 80s. I've always remembered the Krofft shows and their colorful characters. Some of my favorite childhood memories are of watching them. Now, the Krofft brothers first gained notoriety when they designed the sets and characters for Hanna-Barbera's popular kids' television show Banana Splits. After this, the Krofft brothers created their own series called H&R Pufnstuf. After designing an indoor amusement park in 1976 that ultimately failed after 6 months, the Krofft brothers would create the series that they are best known and remembered for, the Krofft Super Show, which ran from 1976 to 1978. The next year it was revamped into the Krofft Superstars Hour and ran for 1 season. Many memorable shows aired on that Super Show, like Dr. Shrinker, Electra Woman, and The Lost Saucer, all ones I enjoyed. Now, parallel to the Krofft Superstars Hour, NBC was running another show called simply Krofft Superstars, which ran old Pufnstuf and Lost Saucer episodes, as well as a few new ones. Far Out Space Nuts, Sigmund and the Sea Monster, Land of the Lost, which is many people's favorite, and one more, which is the one I always remembered the most from the show and looked forward to seeing segments of. The Bugaloos.
The Bugaloos?
Yes, the Bugaloos. Now, I didn't know it at the time, but the Bugaloos were actually an old show created by the Kroffts in 1970, right after they created Pufnstuf. It ran for 2 seasons, and was then rerun on the Krofft Superstars show later, which is where I first saw it. The premise of the Bugaloos is there are 4 human insect hybrids who are British musicians that have formed a band named the Bugaloos. Now, if that sounds trippy and out there, it's actually pretty tame compared to other Krofft show premises. There's Harmony, a bumblebee played by Wayne Laria, Courage, a ladybug played by John Philpott, IQ, a grasshopper played by John McIndoe.
You can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious!
No, not McEnroe, McIndoe. And finally, Joy, a butterfly played by Caroline Ellis. Joy and IQ are the 2 lead singers, and Courage and Harmony sing backup. They live in a place called Tranquility Forest, and while they can fly, they often get around in a dune buggy called the Bugaloos buggy, or also surf the air on leaves. The Bugaloos are very hippie-like, and they only care about playing their music and living in peace with their surroundings. On the opposite spectrum is the main antagonist of the show, Benita Bizarre, played by longtime comedienne Martha Raye. Raye had previously appeared as the boss witch in Pufnstuf and was subsequently cast as Benita because of how well she portrayed a villain. Benita lives in a giant jukebox and dreams of being a musician, although she lacks any talent, charisma, or looks to be one. She's constantly jealous of the Bugaloos' popularity and schemes each show to either destroy them, enslave them, or steal their abilities, musical or otherwise. There's an episode where Benita is jealous that they can fly and she can't, so she tries and almost succeeds in cutting off IQ's wings for herself. Upon the show's creation and casting, the Bugaloos were touted as the British version of the Monkees, and looking at the vibe and format of the show, it's clear why. It did attract many people to the audition for the show upon hearing this, including a very young Phil Collins, who was a finalist for the role of IQ. The show only produced 17 episodes, and like H&R Pufnstuf before it, ran for only one season. There were plans for a second season, and even a possible movie, but those were scrapped with Columbia Pictures filing for bankruptcy. Ironically, though the main cast featured British actors, the show was not widely screened in Britain. The Bugaloos released an album in 1970 featuring songs from the show, and were mostly written by Norman Gimbel and Charles Fox, who also wrote the theme songs for many hit television shows like Laverne and Shirley, Happy Days, Wonder Woman, and Last American Hero. In total, 15 songs were used in the show, nearly one every episode. However, the album released only featured 11 of them, with 4 songs going unreleased, including Sparky, I'm As Happy As Can Be, I Really Love You, and Flickertown. The complete Bugaloo series was released on DVD by Rhino Entertainment in 2006, featuring commentary by Sid Krofft in the pilot episode, and other episodes featuring commentary by 3 of the original cast members, as well as some interview segments. Out of all the Sid and Marty Krofft creations I saw as a kid, I've always remembered the Bugaloos most of all. There was something charming and magical about them. And I have to confess as well that, like many a young lad who watched the Bugaloos, I was enamored with Joy, played by Caroline Ellis. She was just gorgeous in every way possible, but in a pure, good, and wholesome way. She was the crush of many young boys at the time, myself included. But it wasn't just that made the show memorable for me. It was the music, the theme song, the look of the show, Benita Bizarre's comical portrayal by the great Martha Raye. It all came together in a sappier version of the Monkees that was appropriate for children, but could still make adults who watched it grin. The only other creation that came close to being as memorable for me was Electra Woman and Dinah Girl, but we'll leave that for another episode. I'm Triceratops. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.